What's up, everybody? It's your favorite zealot's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Iron Factory Tarn. This is on loan to me from Robert D. He was nice enough to let me look at it. The only bummer is I'm getting it so close to the time where I recently looked at Flames Toys Tarn, so it's kind of a hard one to kind of deal with, but you know, we can't really compare the two. It wouldn't be fair. I just had to separate my mind in the same way. So let's start with accessories. He comes with his dual fusion cannon. Look at yourself. And it comes with this piece here. This has a hinge in the middle. It's a little bit of a tight tolerance, so be careful. But that folds. This can connect on to this piece here. And you have some gold paint on the side. This piece also folds with the hinge in the middle and nice pink paint there on the barrel as well as the gold paint. So that collapses and plugs into the side. And then we have the extra barrel piece, which is just black plastic that plugs into the front. Folding the handle here up, it reveals a 5mm peg, which you can plug into the side of his arm so that he can have his dual fusion cannon and look at himself. But flipping the handle back down, you use any one of these two pegs, I think, or at least one. And between these two purple tabs inside, or pegs inside of the body of the, or legs of the tank mode, and then collapse that all together. He comes with swap out hands, which I like. They haven't done this in a while, at least that I can remember, and I like it when they do this. So he comes with two posing hands, and then two holding hands, and then the stock footage you saw, he has two fist hands. All just purple plastic. Gimmicks wise, he does have the removable face plate. And underneath, the head is painted silver with red eyes, and all that stuff looks pretty good. Sculpt is on point. Scarring in the face and such. And let's talk about the figure. So it feels like a typical Iron Factory figure, so the quality all feels solid. The head is on a ball peg. We've already looked at the detailings, but you get a good up, a good down, and then the swivel. It's a little hard to manipulate because of the design of the figure, but that's not Iron Factory's fault, and I wouldn't want it any other way. These back pieces that are like his back cannons, they do swivel from side to side, so you can get some sort of expression out of those as well. And then the shoulders, let's talk about paint here just in the torso for a second. So we have pink paint, pink paint, pink paint, silver paint, purple paint, like it's painted to the nines, and then silver paint, like a darker gunmetal on the shoulders themselves. Absolutely amazing. Waist swivel and ab crunch. Fantastic. Shoulders get all the way around and then hinge outward for just about 90 degrees. I say let's give it to him. You don't get a bicep swivel proper, but you do get it at the elbow on a ball peg, and that same ball peg also gets you far past 90 degrees on the single ball peg. Wrists obviously swivel because that's where they plug in, and then we have some detailing, some gunmetal paint there, silver paint and gunmetal paint on the treads, and then purple paint on the forearm. Fantastic. Same for the other side. For the hips, we have silver paint on the pelvis. Nothing on the back, which is fine. Ball pegs, T-jointed ball pegs for hips, get you the full Van Damme and the full Monty, just about. Little shy on the front, but I say we give it to him. Thigh swivel built around the socket of the ball peg, which is a nice touch. And then we have gunmetal silver there, gold paint here, silver paint, pink paint. Just good night. Double jointed knees that get you the full bend. Ankles. You pretty much just get the toe for the ankle tilt, so down and then up, and then same thing. You get the slightest bit of a rocker, but it's not great. It leaves a little bit to be desired in that regard, which is the only real articulation issue. And then on the back, fairly clean. This is a phenomenally executed figure, like per usual with this company, but yeah, just fantastic job. For a size comparison, the only thing I have handy right now is Make Toys Swerve. So there he is next to him. And there he is with MMC's offering. And I mean, obviously they're different class figures, but I could point out things I like about each better than the other. So let's get him transformed. We're gonna take off this dual fusion cannon while he looks at himself. We're gonna spin the waist 180. We're gonna collapse these two cannons. Flip the chest up and over his head. Be mindful of his pointy bits on the Decepticon mask. And then we're also going to slide up this section of the treads that are on the top of his shoulder and just do it as you can regarding the chest shield, because you kind of need it to get up and then move the chest shield up, but you need to get the chest shield up in order to do so. It's easier done than said, rather. You can also move these shoulders down while you're here. Swivel around on the ball peg so that the back of the hand is facing towards you at the front of the legs. And then bring this elbow piece up 90 degrees and then bend at the elbow 90 degrees. So we'll do it again on this side. 180, up 90, and then up 90. And I think, yeah, like this. Now that we have the treads out, you can collapse your treads for your shoulders back in and then put this piece all the way up. Take these side pieces and collapse them so that it sort of makes this flush on the top here. Rotate at the thighs right below the socket so that the gold is now facing the same side as the head. And then you want to use this hinge here, which I guess is technically an ankle tilt, but it just totally destroys the sculpt. Flatten this foot and bring this all around, and it's hard for me to keep track of exactly where it's supposed to go, but luckily there are some keys as to how to do it. One of them being that these two pieces have to tab together, which is giving me a bit of a issue. We'll let that be for now. And then the other one being that this arm comes up and tabs in to the ankle there. And it's just a matter of getting it all lined up. That's it's just a delicate little process, and I don't mean that in terms of fragility, just in terms of keeping the sculpt intact. So let me clean this up, and that's pretty close. I finally got these black pieces tabbed in, and the arms are tabbed in, and now we got to get these tracks out and around, and this peg will plug in to this side piece, and it's coming undone a bit already, but hopefully when it's all said and done, it will be fine. And then this side over here, sort of the same situation. Flatten out the track, and you're pegging into this little hole that covers the screw on the white part of the thigh. And I'll get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at him. And there it is. It doesn't roll. It's sort of suggestive. It doesn't do as good of a job looking like the proper tank as, you know, the MMC one. So that's a bit of a bummer, and the transformation is kind of frustrating to get all of this sort of lined up and in its proper place, which kind of sucks also, but it does look good, and a lot of the paint apps and stuff really come through. That's the nice thing about paint, is that like when you apply it, it serves all the purposes you need it to serve in all the modes. There it is next to Tiger Track, so, you know, I think it's cool in its own way. I don't think it's as accurate and as, sort of proper, and this part is very frustrating, like getting the tabs to line up with the handle on the gun, getting the back legs. You see I still don't have the back legs quite right. It's just, I don't know, I don't want to put a whole lot more stress on this thing, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and it's frustrating being so small makes it worse somehow. Final thoughts wise, the negatives mainly pertain to the transformation, getting to the alt mode, and then the alt mode itself. The alt mode itself doesn't look as accurate as it probably should. It's fine. It's not hateful, and I think if you saw it, it's suggestive enough where you would know who it's supposed to be, obviously. I think what makes it a little bit more annoying is the fact that getting it to that mode is frustrating, and then it's not rewarding in the same sense because it doesn't look as accurate as you might hope. But that's really it. That's a bigger deal for some than it is for others. It's not a big deal for me. So let's talk about the positives. The positives wise is that the action figure element of it is awesome. Fully articulated, beautiful sculpt work, beautiful paint, appropriate accessories. They even went with the gimmick of the face. It's outstanding. Also, positives wise, the engineering is interesting. I wish it was kind of smoother in how it worked and not as frustrating, but it is interesting. It's not your normal run-of-the-mill engineering. There's, you know, pieces move different than you're used to them moving, and a lot of that makes for a very interesting and unique unique experience going from mode to mode. The materials feel good. There's no hardware. It's a Legends class figure. And I think it has a good presence for its size. So it's a recommend for me. And it's one of those things that might get easier over time as you mess with the transformation. But just know that the transformation is not the most fun process in the world. And you should be fine. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.